earlier in my life when I would think all of these strange things, and I love to cartoon and draw.
Oh, I didn't
I was
know
not
that.
I couldn't draw, or I never really tried that hard to draw realistically or depict something, but lots of cartoons and lots of I would draw little silly characters and I would make cartoons, and that's fine. Answer your phone.
No, I'm
Clearly, I'm a priority.
You would think I was shutting it off, but I want to see what this. No, I shut it off.
I love it if you took the call and it was a spam call.
It's a spam call.
Well,
I'm arguing with the guy.
What's involved? Well, I don't know.
I don't need blind.
Hold on. Well, wait a minute. Tell me more. And I'm going on and on about the stew still. There's radishes.
You're sleeping.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm constantly, anyone who's in this business and isn't realize that, it is a complete crazy privilege to get any money or rent or mortgage payment, any money that you can make in this world. I mean, Sona, you have a really good perspective on it because you came at this from this crazy angle, and now it's just, well, I got to go in and talk to Stephen Wright.
I know,
and it's I can't believe it. I would
pay to do this. I can't believe
I'm glad you said that.
Oh, no.
No, you should pay.
Okay, I forget I said it.
Yeah, no.
No.
$1,000
No, you're
a
right.
day.
No.
But,
come on.
I'm curious. I know I'm very grateful. I also think there's something about maybe I'd feel differently if I had grown up in Los Angeles or grown up around this. But it's very hard for me to explain to people how Massachusetts, and especially the era that we grew up in, 60s, 70s, coming of age in that time, show business was further removed from not just Massachusetts, but Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, that area. The last thing in the world you ever thought could happen was that you could be in show business. I saw no evidence that show business existed. I didn't see famous people. I didn't know anybody who was related. My dad's a fake scientist at the bus station. You never thought that you would get any chance. And I think it's a different world now. People think about things differently. And Boston looks so different now. I mean, look at movies from the 60s and 70s that depict Boston. Look at The Verdict. Look at Friends of Eddie Coyle. Look at these movies that show Boston in the 70s. It's so gray and it's so unappealing in so many ways and kind of depressed. And
so real.
And so real and kind of gritty.
Yeah,
no slickness at all. And then I remembered leaving, coming to LA, getting involved in other stuff in my career, and then coming back to Boston in the late 80s. And suddenly there's pain quotidiens everywhere, and people were saying, would you like a crepe? And I was like, this is not the Boston I grew up in. You can go back and look at those movies. And I go that's the Boston I remember.
That's
Cars
it.
that are rusted out.
Yeah.
Everyone's wearing a gray jacket. Policemen are all really heavy. Their belts are around their nipples. And they're directing traffic, but I don't think they've ever shot a gun in their life. Nobody's, people aren't that nice. It's cold. The snow all turns sooty right away.
Right away.
Somehow that all changed. Hey, whether you're stuck in traffic or streaming your favorite podcasts, that's where I come in. It's important to have a network you can trust wherever you are. Say it with me. T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Yeah, you didn't really have to say it with me.
Oh.
But it is your network. I'm excited about T-Mobile.
Yeah.
They're killing it. And who's really excited is our good friend Blay, who's been using this service. Blay, tell us about it.
Yeah, I have been a T-Mobile subscriber for a really long time. They're awesome. I download videos all the time.
Yeah, you do. You download a lot of videos.
Yeah.
I do.
Now, you've never read a book.
No, books are overrated. But and I listen to this podcast on a hike. Fantastic. Up in the mountains.
You listen to our podcast?
Contractually.
You
I have
work
to.
here.
Yeah, I have to. I have to listen to it. But it's great. And honestly, the coverage is insane. And yeah, I love the service. I love the phone. It's fantastic.
Experience for yourself how T-Mobile is America's largest and fastest 5G network. You can't top them.
I like all the G's.
You bet you do. Find out more at tmobile.com/CY. That's SEEWHY. Fastest based on median overall combined 5G speeds, according to analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data for Q4 2022.
Good.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I said exactly what they wanted me to.
You just
See
read it word
5G details at tmobile.com.
It's like a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
And I think that realness that you just described makes us appreciate, what do you mean you're going to go do this show and that's how you're going to pay the rent? What do you mean? Because all you see is people doing, that's real, like, jobs. That's why I appreciate it all the time. It's like it's playing. Don't you think this is playing?
Oh, it's totally playing.
It's like being 5 or 10 and you're finger painting, but with words.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine this. Oh, imagine this. You're in the
Right,
cafeteria saying to your friend, oh.
Right.
And then this becomes your career.
Now, what do you prefer? Obviously, you're very comfortable on a stage. You're great on a stage. Do you like being up in front of people, or do you prefer the part where you're crafting it?
It's two different things: writing the material and then performing the material. The performance is very intense to me, even still now. I mean, I'm not nervous, but it's like walking a tightrope. The way it's like you were running across a lake of thin ice, and you're trying to get to the other side without falling through during the length of the show.
Right.
That's very intense. I would say that the writing is more of it's enjoyable. It has no intensity. You just minding your own business, and then something happens.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being in front of the audience? I can't imagine on television night after night after night. How?
It was so funny because there's one of the great comedy writers of all time, George Meyer, worked at The Simpsons when I was there. And he's, legendary, brilliant guy. And he had worked on the early Letterman show. And I was being considered as possibly being one of the people who might replace Letterman. And my name is starting to show up in the trades. And, I'm working at The Simpsons, and my friends are like, this is crazy. This is insane. And when I know, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's crazy. And they're like, man, but you're a funny guy. This could be a funny show. I think you could do it. And they're all saying, no, I think you could do it. I remember George Meyer. I went out in the parking lot, and George Meyer was walking with me. I was like, oh, man, I wouldn't do it if I were you. And I said, really? And this didn't come from anything, but he was just being honest. And he went, I worked on one of those shows every day. Feed the dragon. Feed the dragon every day. And he was like, don't do it. It'll ruin your life.
Wow.
And you know what?
Wow.
He wasn't wrong, but I'm also was the best thing I ever did. And what I found was this magical thing. I realized very early on doing an hour a day. I remember the worst thing about this job is that you have to do it every day for an hour. The best thing about this job is that you get to do it every day for an hour, because when you crank up the volume like that, you start to, over time, think, what the hell? What the fuck? Let's give it a shot. That's masturbating bear. Let's give it a shot. Dog puppet that insults people and says, you suck. I want to poop on you. Let's try it.
I don't know how you did it.
Well,
I don't know how you did it that over and over and over and over.
As I said to somebody once, they said, Jesus, 4,300 something shows. How did you do it? And I said, the trick is, some of them aren't very good. It's just kind of true. Like, yeah, you look at some and you go, oh, I see how he did it. That wasn't so good, but we always tried.